Hi, it is the Human Operating System time. This channel is for education and technology only. In the recent videos, I have shared the combinations, the body mechanics, and the mobility of the Wing Chun version 1850. Today, I'd like to proceed to share the scientific difference between the Wing Chun 1850 and 1960 version Xu Lim Tao training. While training is important because training, mobility, body mechanics, and combinations, they are actually one. They support each other. So we need to know what type of training is it. What type of training of the 1850s Wing Chun and what type of training of 1960s versions of Wing Chun Xu Lim Tao. Now, let me get to the scientific, the term scientific. This is very important. Scientific means facing the reality, objective and predictable result, or see things as it is. Scientific means it can be proven, it is verifiable. So scientific means it is not about this grandmaster say this, that grandmaster say that, or this lineage, or myth, or magic, or metaphysics, or guessing, or I think so, or I believe so, or my way, or my philosophy. It is not. It is simply facing the reality, objective, predictable, and see things as it is. So if we look at things this way, there is nobody to blame. There is nobody to put down. We just look at things as it is. Because the bottom line is, what is the result of the training? Can the training support the mobility, support the combination, support the body mechanics? That is the bottom line. So this grandmaster say what, that lineage, that myth, that magic, that metaphysics, philosophy, all belongs to different world when you get into see things as it is in a scientific way. And face it, in today's world, we need to look at things in scientific. Otherwise, we really don't know what it is. Now, if we want to look at things scientifically, look at training scientifically, we need to know that in today's science, we know that there are three types of exercise, namely the isometric exercise, which keeps muscle works against a force in a static without changing length. And there's isotonic exercise, keep the muscles at the same tension throughout the dynamic movement, such as this. Okay, so this is all scientific stuff. You can check it in YouTube and everywhere, because this is for fitness, for exercise, for bodybuilding, it's scientific stuff. And then that is the isokinetic exercise, to keep the load moving at a constant speed regardless of the force applied in the dynamic. Okay, so this is the three type of exercise, and usually one even use the isokinetic for rehabilitation, okay, for in medical purpose. So this is all proven scientific exercise, knowing the result, knowing the cause, knowing the effect, knowing what to expect. Okay, So this is the 3 types of exercise per scientifically we know today. Now, we need to know these 3 types of exercise, okay? So we can analyze what is the bottom line of the Xu Lin Tao training of 1850s and the 1960. Now, when perform these 3 exercises, there are 2 factors need to satisfy in order to gain maximum benefit. So scientifically we know these factors are the breath and the mind. Okay? So this is scientific. You want to perform these 3 exercises and get maximum benefit, then one need to satisfy these 2 factors, which is the breath and the mind. So scientifically we know this. This is really solid. That's why those bodybuilder and Olympic trainer and so forth, they can get result. Okay, because they know what they need to do or what bottom they need to push. Now, what does breath and mind, we know that there's no such thing as mind power without proper breathing. Okay? You need to have proper breathing. There's no such thing as, mind power. And you can do everything with mind power and not talking about proper breathing and don't know about proper breathing and do not have the training of the proper breathing. Also, there is no such thing as chi power without proper breathing. So what is chi power? Okay, there's a question there. When these 2 scientifically verified factor is not satisfied, all this chi power and so forth, we really don't know what it is. And so there's also no such thing as using yi, not strength, and do not know how to breathe. So all those things, you can often hear people say mind power, chi power, using yi, not using strength. Well, forget about it. Okay, if you want benefit, follow the scientific way. Breath and mind. Okay. Now, let's look at what is breath. The breath is important because in order to build muscle, it is vitally important that they be continually supplied with fresh oxygen. Okay? So you need fresh oxygen in your exercise in order to build your muscle and so forth. When you take in shallow breath, mean your blood is only getting a small percentage of fresh air that it could be getting. Okay, so shallow breath means there's influence in your blood, and that's why it is so important to always breathe deeply from your diaphragm. So for your muscle, your blood in your body, you need to have a deep diaphragmatic proper breathing. Without this, all bets off. Okay, if you want to have a beneficial and maximum benefit exercise or training, this is a must. This is the bottom line. Okay. Now, if you look at the traditional Chinese martial art on breathing, there is the Xing Qi into Dan Tian, or I name it as the 2C state in the Wing Chun Matrix books. Okay, so this is what it is. Okay, Xing Qi to Dan Tian, the proper lower abs breathing. Okay, so that is what it is if you look at it in the traditional Chinese martial arts, and you know that they are consistent. Okay, now another factor is mind. So one need to pay attention on the part of body and the move one is working on. Always remember that your brain commands your muscle and your body. Don't let mind wander around into thinking about other things. So that is the second factor. Now, if we look at it in the traditional Chinese martial arts body and mind descriptions, we know that as in the basic Wing Chun Kukun art and science, that is the sixth core element. The sixth core element. Okay, the sixth core element. So namely the physical body, the mind, the breathing, before it get into the energy, strength, and the momentum. Okay, so that is this pay attention on the part of the body and the move one is working on is actually accord with traditional Chinese martial arts. And if you look at the 1850s Xiu Lim Tao training, I call it user manual in this Wing Chun Inception, the practice instruction is here. It said that eye must track hand, hand must track the mind, hand issue from mind. The details of mind and body synchronization has to be meticulous. Okay? So that is what 1850s Wing Chun Xiu Lim Tao training is about. Well, again, it is accord with the today's 2020 scientific verifiable factor of to getting the maximum benefits, to gain maximum benefit in your exercise. Okay, it doesn't matter which one of this. Okay, so with this, up to now, we know the ancient and the modern science, they actually are accord to each other. Okay, so they support each other, they're going to the same directions. Now, we look at the Xiu Lim Tao training. So this is the 1960 platform, this is the 1850 platform, or the 1850 version. Now, look at the 1960s versions of Xiu Lim Tao training. It is known to hold structural triangle. You hold the lower part of the body, and then you have your leg, and then your pushing and your lifting anus. Okay. So with this, we know it is some type of isometrics in the lower part of the body. Okay, since isometrics is a static without changing length. Okay, isometric keep muscle work against a force in static without changing length. We know this type of holding structure, triangle, and lifting anus is isometrics. And of course, for the moving of the arm, one practice in Xiu Lim Tao, it is isokinetic or isotonic. So you know that the 1960s versions of Xiu Lim Tao, you know that if you are moving this part of the body, of the hand, then this part is isokinetics, while else all other locations, they are isometrics. You know that, okay? So we know what it is in terms of scientific. Now also from this, we know that due to the holding of the triangle shape or the knee-in shape of this type of holding, you cause the breathing to not be able to go down to the lower abs. that is because of the structure limitations or the structure constraint. So the breathing is shallow and sometimes stop breathing. Okay, so that is the general. Okay, so maybe there are 1 out of 1,000 who's not doing this, but in general, we analyze the general practice. That's what it is. Okay, so in other words is it is mostly isometric and some isokinetic, which is on the apply only on the arm, which is the isokinetic, and the rest is isometric type. And then the breathing is chest level shallow breathing or the stop breathing. Okay, so scientifically we can verify that. Now, for the version 1850, the characteristic is dynamic willow snake body with the 7 bowls and 4 momentum handles, which is all the entire body move in a dynamic way. We know that is isokinetic. And we know that due to it is isokinetic and all this is not hold on, the lower part of the body is not hold on, you can sing chi or get into the 2C state or getting into the lower abdomen breathing state. Okay, so the breathing the breathing is lower abs and it is isokinetics. So we know it now that the 1850s version of Tao is lower abs breathing and isokinetics, while the 1960 is chest breathing or stop breathing with a mix of isometric and isokinetic, where isometric is the lower part of the body. So with this, we know the scientific verifications or scientific analysis of what is going on, or what is the difference between the 1960 and the 1850s platform, or the 1960 versions of Tao training or the 1850s Tao training. So this is what I like to share with you. Okay, so we are really clear on what is going on today, because we do know scientifically the basic exercise that we can reference to. So this is to share with you today.